Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the very next episode of The Remedy with Tova Sido and
Janice Gaunt.
You got excited.
I did. I was excited to say my name. And
Tom Bridwell.
yay.
Woot woot. Welcome to another week.
Yeah, man, that week went fast, didn't
Yes,
it?
it sure did. Lightning fast. Tom, I just saw on Instagram that the first place that Scotty went to when he got home, do you know where he went?
Last night?
Yeah.
Let's see. It would have been late, so it would have been Whataburger?
Inwood Tavern.
No way.
Yeah. He was there with his green jacket on. I've seen a picture of it right now.
That's cute.
Oh my gosh.
That's really cute.
Isn't that
That's
awesome?
Yeah,
awesome.
we used to go. My first husband and I used to go there all the time.
So did Topher
I
and
haven't
I.
been there in a long time.
I don't think we belong there anymore.
We don't?
I think we've outgrown the Inwood Tavern.
Because it's not clean enough?
I don't think it's clean enough for us.
Okay, we'll
That's
go to the
hilarious.
mansion.
Yes. We belong
I'll meet
there.
you at the mansion then.
I mean, if we were going to go, if we were going to meet Tom, I'd go to the Inwood Tavern. This Tom. I feel like you would really like the Inwood Tavern, Tom.
Not anymore. I don't really
Did you outgrow too?
I think I've just outgrown the whole bar scene.
Yeah,
I don't even know the bar
Truthfully.
scene.
I don't either.
Yeah. I'll go see music. Like Bakari Taboo, I'll go there because there's music.
Oh, it's so good.
And it's nice on the inside.
And the food is so good.
What's that place?
Bakari Taboo?
It's Julian's new place.
Oh,
right
is
here,
that the place next door to
Nona.
Nona? I haven't
Yeah.
been there yet.
Oh,
It's
it's
awesome.
so good.
Dang, I got to go.
We should go.
I know. Are they open on Mondays?
I don't know.
I feel like they might be closed on Monday.
I don't think so. I think it's Tuesday to Saturday.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Food is so good.
Well, Nona is ridiculous. Okay, Janice, I haven't even told you this, but we are sponsors of this remedy.
Oh, we
Because
are?
I feel like if somebody gives us money for the remedy and then we do a remedy on the 7 most common sexual fantasies, they could get offended.
That's a very good point.
So we'll pay for
split
this.
this one. But Tom, since you are the recipient of this money, we are insisting that you tell us the truth about your answers to these questions.
I couldn't tell a lie if you paid me.
I feel like
Done it
Tom
all.
is going to make this so much more interesting than it would otherwise be if it was just you and me, Janice.
We'd be like, no.
That's weird. I don't know. Who would do that? Tom's like, me. Okay, so we actually did find this article in a reputable magazine called Psychology Today. Do you like this magazine?
Yeah, I love it.
I do too. I think it's really, really good. So they have these different sections. The section that we're reading from today is relationships, and the article is the 7 most common sexual fantasies. Dun, dun, dun. So, let me ask you, Janice, do you think every single human organism that's in their right mind,
Yeah.
or is, I don't even know what I'm trying to qualify it, but has had a sexual fantasy?
You mean acted on it or just in their brain?
Just in your brain.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I would say,
I think that they would entertain the possibility, maybe not the probability.
Right.
But
yes.
yeah. And I think sometimes there can be a TV show or a movie or something like that, and something is not, just right in the down the center, but is a little right. So then you think, okay, well, then
that would be like.
It could be. Then you're watching it, or whatever. If it's in a movie, and you think, oh, that could be fun. But then when it came right back down to it, it probably wouldn't be. I mean, I don't know that I would actually follow through on very many of these.
I don't think I would with any of them. I don't think I would. I need to read through them again, but we'll take it one by one. How about that?
Okay, let's do.
So, but this is rooted in research. There's actually a table that goes along with it where they took a survey where how popular are these 7 most common sexual fantasies, and men and women answered. So it was a percentage of the women and men who said yes.
So that they've done it, or that they've just entertained it in their brain?
I think these are just the fantasy.
Okay.
This is not
that they've done
they've
it.
engaged in this fantasy. It's how popular are these scenarios.
Okay.
So, which makes a really big difference because
Huge difference.
and it would be hard to believe that everybody has engaged in these sexual fantasies, but it doesn't surprise me that people have sexual fantasies.
Oh, yeah. I know people that have had a bunch of these. I've had a ton of people that were pretty...
that have engaged in these fantasies. People haven't really talked to me about that. But
they haven't.
I'm mostly premarital, and I kind of stay in my lane.
You're a church woman.
Yeah, I'm a church counselor. You're a different kind of counselor. In fact, when I don't know what to do with people, I just send them to you. This is beyond my pay grade. Go see Janice. Or if I can't be as hard as I need to be on people, like I tell people all the time, she shoots straight, but she'll give you a hug on the way out.
Yeah.
I kind of got my ass kicked, but she hugged me.
I hate her, but I love her. Okay. Oh,
So,
dear.
just for clarification, and I think it's a good question, Janice. This is just about the fantasy.
Yeah.
Not the number of people who've engaged in
Right. It's the
this
people...
sexual encounter.
The percentage of people that have in thought about it.
Yeah.
Or looked at it, or whatever, but hadn't been participatory in it.
Right. Not necessarily. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what these stats are.
Yeah.
Or that's what this article is about. So why don't you tackle number 1? The 7 most common sexual fantasies rooted in research, which I love.
Okay.
Numero uno.
Here it is. Multi-partner sex. Threesomes and orgies are some of the most pervasive fantasies. I guess it's hard for me to read. Multi-partner sex is an incredibly popular idea in part because it feeds the craving for novelty. People tend to grow bored when their sex life becomes predictable, and one easy way to break the routine is to add new partners into the mix.
Okay. And the number of people, men, the percentage of men who have reported ever having had this fantasy, the number of men is 95%.
Yeah.
And the number of women is 87%.
Isn't that interesting?
Girls are keeping a lot of secrets.
Well, I'm curious. I feel like of that 95% of men, I think I would say 94.5% are thinking about 2 girls and them. Whereas
100%.
I would bet that about over half of the women in that 87% are thinking about 2 girls and 1 man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I think of a
can't
threesome, that's what I
imagine
would
there's
think of.
that many that are thinking about 2 men with them.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah. There may be some gay men who would entertain that.
Yeah. Yeah.
sure.
I bet gay men go to that more than...
Yeah, I think so too.
But it is interesting that men go to 2 girls, and I think women also go to 2 girls.
Yeah, I don't know. What on earth would you do with 2 guys?
That seems involved.
It seems like a lot. I don't think I have that much endurance.
Yeah. I was about to say something really
There was a
bad.
joke about this in a Kevin Smith movie.
What was it?
These guys were making fun of this girl for doing the Chinese finger cuffs, which is basically
I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
It's basically, two guys, one girl, basically one on each end.
That's a Chinese.
That's what they were calling it. It was a joke in a movie, so it was really funny. But you just kind of imagine the Chinese finger cuffs. You know what those things are?
No.
It's that little toy. It's like the little braided sleeve that like children get in like a.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you put your fingers
in them
ends,
and then you can't get them out.
Yeah, and when you pull your fingers away, it like
I
tightens
never understood
up.
what that is.
Yeah.
What is that called?
They're called Chinese finger cuffs. It's like a little toy.
Yeah, it is.
And you stick your fingers in both end of the little thing.
Like this. It's braided, real tightly braided.
But I never really
like,
understood the point of that thing.
Yeah.
It was just...
It's a toy.
Yeah, just a toy.
It's a toy.
That's so interesting.
But they referenced that as having a girl do that in high school, and I've never forgotten that funny image.
Oh my gosh. Yes, okay, moving on.
Okay.
Well, you told me to be honest.
No, I like it. I did too.
Tom, you're the only one that really can bring some light into this. So,
Maybe.
Doubtful.
We're not going to throw him under the
I love that.
bus.
He goes doubtful. Okay, why don't you read number 2, Tom?
The power and control and rough.
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Wait,
Rough sex.
what?
Is that what
Power, control, and rough sex.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me see here. I gotta boost this up.
Oh, that's the bondage stuff.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time seeing it because of this picture.
Oh,
It's kind of,
do you want me to send you a better picture really
no,
quick?
it's cool. Okay, so it says BDSM, which encompasses bondage, discipline, dominance, submission, sadism, and masochism, is widespread, and the two most common variations are taking or giving up control and mixing pleasure with pain.
Oh.
For some, BDSM offers an opportunity to escape the pressure of, I can't read that, traditional gender roles. For instance, many women imagine being dominant and many men imagine being submissive. I have to say, this for me personally, this one is very strange to me because I don't think that I would be turned on by a woman being like
aggressive,
dominant, especially involving pain.
Yeah, like little
I
whips.
could see someone talking dirty being kind of a turn on, but and being kind of like a little more demanding instead of like sort of taking charge. But I don't think anytime you involve pain into that.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like something that would turn. I know that wouldn't turn me on personally. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Pain-
this whole
pain would not.
BDSM, that's something that I have just my whole life. I've never understood that. I don't know.
What does that even stand for? Does anybody know?
Bondage,
discipline, sadism,
dominances, submission,
sadism,
sadism, and masochism.
Oh, that's what the acronym. that-
However, I did know a musician buddy of mine about 20 years ago whose wife literally was that's what she did for a living. She would like go to guys' houses and do that. I don't know if she did the actual intercourse part, but she would like get paid to like pour wax on guys and hit them with whips and dress up like a cat in a leather suit just for a total
Turn
like,
on?
yes, a turn on.
Yeah.
But and I was like, that's your wife? And he's like, yeah, she loves it. That's how I met her. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And she made apparently a pretty good chunk of change doing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a whole world happening.
There is a whole world
That is true.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I'm just watching Netflix. The craziest thing I do is watch Married at First Sight, which is crazy. Okay, number 3, novelty, adventure, and variety. Almost everyone fantasizes about having sex in new ways, such as trying a different position or setting. Sex in public is especially popular, in which the risk of getting caught provides thrill and excitement. Similar to group sex, fantasies about novelty are driven by the desire to break the mold. They likely also stem from what psychologists Arthur Aaron and Elaine Aaron referred to as the drive for sex expansion. People need to grow and expand the self over time, and engaging in novel activities accomplishes this goal. Bolstering this theory, a 2019 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that the more couples experimented with new and different activities, the happier they were with both their sex lives and relationships.
Huh.
I don't mind this one.
No, I don't. I mean, and the thing
That doesn't
like sex in
make
a
me
new
uncomfortable.
setting. That doesn't. I mean,
That doesn't make me uncomfortable.
me neither.
I think that's why I think your advice about change your zip code once a quarter in your
Yeah.
marriage, because it just keeps the relationship fresh.
Yeah.
You guys watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yes.
Have you seen any of the ones from this season?
Yes, I just watched it last night.
The
last
one about floor fucking. Do you remember that episode? No. Cheryl, like, they brought it up. Okay, so I don't want to spoil too much, but they ended the series just like they ended the Seinfeld series, where he went to trial.
Oh yeah.
For what he did in Atlanta in episode 1. You know. Anyway, one of the people they brought up to talk about, like, to sort of trash his character was Cheryl, his ex-wife, who she basically said he admitted to me once that he liked to have sex on the floor so that when it was over, he didn't have to be intimate.
He had to get up. That is
and of course Leon was like, looked over at him. He's like, "You a floor fucker?" He's like, "You know what's even better than the floor? Doing it in mud."
He is the funniest person in the world
He's
on that
hilarious.
show.
Yes.
I haven't watched any of the new season.
You haven't?
Yeah.
Do y'all watch Laudermilk?
I don't know
That
what
series?
My wife does.
Oh my gosh, it is so good. You would love it. And it's really, really, really good. Loudermilk. He's in recovery from drug addiction, and he runs this group of people who are all in recovery, and it is hilarious. It is so funny.
And it's just a show. It's not
Loudermilk.
true.
No, it's just a show.
Okay, I will. Is it on Netflix?
I think, I don't know, one of them.
One of
But
the
you could
channel things.
put that
Yeah.
on the Google.
Yeah,
But
I will.
yeah, you would really, really,
Okay,
really
I'll put
like
it in my notes section.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I do watch everything you tell me to watch. Good. Okay, one thing that I thought that I forgot about with the last one is the percentage of men and women who have done this. So that BDSM, the bondage, discipline, dominance, submission sitch. I'm shocked about this stat. 93% of women have fantasized about this, and 95% of men.
Yeah, that's amazing. I guess it would make sense for women to want to be empowered in that way. It's got to be.
Yeah, if the women was the one that was doing the bondage.
Yeah, doing the bossing around.
Being the boss lady.
Yeah.
And I don't think this means that they do it, but they've fantasized
That's right.
about it.
But I'm just kind of surprised that 93% of women have fantasized about that.
Yeah, me too.
Now, the next one that we just talked about, that doesn't surprise me. Both men and women said 97% of men and women both fantasize about variety, adventure, and novelty.
I feel like variety is how you sort of keep that. That's like such a normal and important thing to keep something going. I mean, one of the things about marriage that I've always thought was the most difficult part is the monogamy part of it. And I'm a guy. I know that's not probably the same with women, but it's hard. And so like you have to like change it up.
Yeah. I think changing it up is a really good.
Yeah, I mean, a different
fresh.
location. Just go do it in the garage in the back seat of the car.
Totally.
I feel like that's a way to keep, to keep things
Or on the boat.
interesting and to not get bored.
Yeah.
Because you are going to be with this one person for the rest of your life. And sometimes that could be 70 years. Yeah, so changing it up is probably pretty healthy.
Probably pretty healthy.
Yeah. And I think that it's, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I honestly and truly, I don't know that I think that anything is wrong with any of it as long as they agree to do it.
Well, that's what
it's
you
just
always
about
say.
Agreement.
Yeah, it's just about, I may not want to do any of these things,
yeah.
but if people do it and enjoy it, and it's kind of like religion for me. If that speaks to you, go do it.
Are either of you members of the Mile High Club?
No, but I kind of wish I was. Janice! Oh, it's because she dated somebody who had a private jet.
Oh my God!
She's
You're turning so red right now.
I did not answer that. I refused to answer that
You
question.
didn't have to. Your face said everything I needed to know. Your kids, and I'm sweating for you.
I refuse to answer that question.
What about you, Tom?
You already did. No, I haven't. Mainly because I can't fit in one of those bathrooms.
Yeah, but if you had a big private jet and it was just you and Maureen on the plane, that could be fun.
Hundo P.
Yeah. I mean, if I could have gotten away with it at some point, I think I for sure would have, like you did.
That is hilarious.
She can't even talk. She is so tongue-tied right now, Tom. Yeah. What, did you get a bee sting too, and now your throat is closing up?
Yes.
That is cracking me up. Are you sweating, Janice? Have either of y'all ever had sex in a public place?
You mean like at Safeway?
Yeah.
Or Tom Thumb?
Yeah.
No.
Not at Tom Thumb, but in a public place?
No, I can't. I don't think so.
I don't think I've either. Have you?
Yes.
Where was it?
I don't think I want to say.
Church?
But that'd be hilarious.
Here's the preacher woman.
Okay, so
I don't think
guess
anybody would have ever wanted to have sex with me at the church.
probably is it a movie
in the
theater?
building.
A movie theater?
Oh, I never had sex in a movie theater.
Because that seems like it would be a pretty common place.
But sometimes when I've gone to like the Inwood Theater, when they used to have the bean bags, I was like, I don't want to sit in there.
No.
I want to sit in a chair.
Yeah.
Or like at a party at somebody's house, you sneak into the bathroom with your partner and.
Have you done that, Tom?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I can't even believe I'm saying that. As I'm saying that out loud, that's so funny. Like I could even forget something like that.
I don't think so. That is very true. It seems like you would know that.
I know,
it's
but
pretty much
I mean,
a yes or no question.
You know, I was in a band. I've done so many things.
Okay, well, let's make it the Tom Show.
No, I just honestly don't remember, but I don't think so. Honestly, that I feel like I would remember that.
I feel like you would probably.
Yeah, I
remember
think
that.
you would too.
I think having sex in different places is a great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get away with it. Yeah,
Yeah, as long as you can. I mean,
yeah.
I think having sex on like a balcony of a hotel for other people's consumption is a little strange.
Yep.
But I mean, like you said, if everybody wants, but not everybody wants to see that.
Yeah, no, I think.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So like having it in a public place without public consumption, I'm down with.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody watching me.
No. And I don't want to watch that.
I definitely don't want to watch that. Definitely. Number 4 is taboo activities.
Yep.
Doing something that you're not supposed, that's in quotes, to do can be a major turn on. What word is that? Oh, fetish fantasies fall into this category, such as for feet and footwear, along with desires that psychologists deem paraphilic or atypical, such as voyeurism, which involves spying on others as they undress or have sex. Taboo activities are appealing because when people are told that they can't do something sexually or otherwise, it tends to make them want to do it even more. Sex therapist Jack Morin cleverly summarized this idea in what he termed the erotic equation. Attraction plus obstacles equals excitement. Jazz hands. Okay, so taboo activities. How do you feel about those, Tom? Doing something that you're not supposed to.
I think
do.
ultimately I'm pretty boring, so I this is not something that this doesn't apply to me. This particular one.
Me neither.
Yeah, me neither.
It just doesn't.
It's not doing it for any of us.
Yeah.
I'm not risky in the bed, so why would I be risky somewhere else in the bed?
Somewhere outside of the bed.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, Tom, why don't you tackle 5?
Okay. Passion, romance, and intimacy.
Now we're talking.
Steamy daydreams sometimes involve meeting emotional needs through sex, such as feeling loved, appreciated, or desired. For example, people often picture an intimate prelude that eventually leads to sex, such as a romantic date in an exotic location. Social psychologists such as Mark Leary and Roy Baumeister have argued that human beings have a fundamental need to belong, a need to feel connected to others. Fantasizing about passionate or intimate moments may be one way to validate this powerful drive.
Interesting.
I'm down with passion, romance, and intimacy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was.
You're not down with it anymore?
Is it me, or when you're in a relation, when you're in a marriage, sometimes it's, especially when you have a young kid, sometimes it's like, okay, she's in bed, let's do this and go to bed. Like kind of a thing. Sometimes you can get into that.
Sure.
Quick, get this done, check this off the to-do list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now on vacations, obviously it's different. But yeah, back when I was younger, and certainly in the early stages of a relationship, when you're first starting to date somebody, which obviously those days are long gone, I do remember caring more about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, it's just you've got a lot going on in your life, and it makes it a little more difficult to have some of those real erotic kind of passion and romance.
Yes.
I think that's one of the best parts about dating somebody new.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it's so exciting, and it's...
But when do the three of us get to do that anymore? We're all married.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not
Almost.
married, but I'm almost... I mean, and I've been in a relationship for 5 years. But, I mean, I think it kind of comes down to the novelty, adventure, and variety.
Yeah.
But I do think that, okay, you guys have all... how many years have you been married, Tom?
We just celebrated our 10th anniversary.
Oh, that's great. And how long did you date before?
18 months.
Oh, so you were kind of fast.
Well...
Oh, but
no,
y'all were
that's
friends.
not true. It was 2.5 years. It was 18
Yeah.
months, and then we got engaged. I guess I'm including that as part of the... I've known Maureen for 13 years.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you've been married how many years?
I don't know, like 12 or 13. I don't know.
And you dated fast too. You were a year before you got engaged.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Year
We
and a half.
dated. We probably dated about 2 or 3, maybe 2 years before we got married.
Before you got it. But you got engaged after 1 year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because he took you where you had your first date.
Uh-huh.
To get engaged.
Yep.
So, do you guys still have passion, romance in
Yes.
in your sex life
Yeah.
and
yeah.
in your intimacy?
Yeah.
I think that's something that's always going to be really important to me.
Yeah, I think it is important. And I think that, that's one of the benefits, I think, of like going on a vacation or,
Sure.
or just changing up the location of, and
Yep.
I just think it gives it some spice to
Gives it a pop.
Yeah. And I think that it's, I know that there are a lot of women that are not interested in like anything that is possibly could be seen or like if you were
To talk dirty or something?
well, or
Is that
just
what you
any
mean?
of it, any of it that they're just embarrassed. They're a little bit too contained for that, and I think that they don't give themselves permission to step outside of that box a little bit. You're not gonna do something that's not within your value system. But I think that it can be fun for couples to just do something different.
Yep.
And to where you can keep that spice going.
Yeah. I mean, that's really important to me. It was so interesting. I did counseling for a couple that's getting married, and they have very little intimacy, very low passion. They don't care about, they don't like to see each other naked. They don't ever take a shower together. They don't,
Well, they're modest.
they're very modest. I mean, he said the shower is a place to get clean. That's what he said.
Oh.
No foreplay, no oral sex. And they both liked it like that. And I was like, as much as I'm fine with somebody.
How old are they?
20s.
Wow.
That's really weird.
It was very interesting. But then I thought, you know what?
Works for them?
It totally works for them.
Yeah.
They found each other. And so, I mean, my jaw was on the ground and I was like, this is so fascinating to me. And they were both fine with it. And so to your point, Janice, like there's one extreme where like people can bring in whips, chains, bondage,
other people.
and our jaws dropping. And then there is the complete other side where there's just this, we don't care about it that much.
Yeah.
We scratch an itch. They've also never had sober sex.
Oh.
They've only ever been drunk.
Really? Like drunk? Like not just like a
They've
glass
only
of wine
been
or
drinking. They said they've never had sober sex.
That's really crazy because if they're
Isn't that
having
interesting?
sex
Yeah.
is if they're letting down their inhibitions and having sex when they're drunk, you would think they would like let some of those other rules go too.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
sure.
true. Yeah.
Especially the no oral sex one.
Yeah, I just I found that couple to be very different than any other young couple that I have done their premarital.
Do they have a religious reason for
Nope.
that?
Nope.
Interesting.
That is strange.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure there's people who are listening who are like, I don't care about sex.
Yeah.
I don't care about sex. I think I will always care about sex.
Well, you will.
Yeah. I'm just a very intimate, lovey. I need touch. I need intimacy. I need it to be meaningful. I don't want to just wham bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. My mother and dad, when my mother died, my dad had condoms in his bathroom drawer. I mean, I can remember when I was growing up and you'd hear this click and then
Yeah.
lock the door and
Yeah.
then they'd click, unlock it, and I knew exactly
You're
what
like,
they
"I'm
were
gonna go on a
doing. I was
walk."
like, whoa, that makes me sick to my stomach. But they had a sexual relationship until one of them died, till my dad died.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
I think it's really important. Okay, I sent you a new screenshot, so hopefully you can see better, but you want to tackle 6,
I'm
Janice?
trying to find it. Oh, there it is. Being in a non-monogamous relationship, practicing some form of monogamy, such as non-monogamy, such as swinging polarity. I can barely read this. Polyamory.
What is
or
that?
an open relationship seems to be a turn-on for many people. In contrast to multi-partner sex, non-monogamous fantasies are not necessarily about having sex with several people at the same time. Instead, they center around the freedom to pursue more than one relationship or not be limited to a single sexual partner. Let me get that. These fantasies partly fulfill the need for sexual novelty and partly fulfill the need for intimacy and emotional connection. People are often drawn to non-monogamy, because they struggle with the concept that one partner should be everything to them and fulfill every one of their relationship needs.
So this kind of goes along, Tom, with what you said.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to make it sound like that I'm always on the prowl. I'm just
Oh,
because
God.
I'm not.
You do not have that vibe at all.
No, but I definitely think that's the hardest part of marriage is
And I think a lot of people would agree with you.
knowing that that's just the one for the rest of my life. I mean, they've joked about this in so many movies like Wedding Crashers and Swingers and all that. So anyway,
Yep.
I would say but then I think about somebody like Jerry Jones, who has cheated so many times, and June seems to be okay with it, or whatever her name is, June. And I just wonder how the hell they came to that. I think to myself, how could that have come to be? And it just be, if Maureen and I tried something like that, I don't know how that could possibly work.
It wouldn't work for me.
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't work for me for a nanosecond.
I just...
Even if I
don't
could
know
not
how
be
that
jealous of her, like if she started, like if we stayed married because we had something great going on, we have this amazing family that we have, and if we just decided, okay, we're going to give each other a hall pass for the whole summer, like I don't know how that would work. I just don't, on both of our parts. I can't see that being something. It's just too weird to think about.
Janice, have you ever seen that work well?
No.
I can't imagine.
Well,
That
I
think people probably would think let's try it. That's a good idea.
And then when the rubber meets the road,
until it's not.
it's so weird for everybody.
I do know people who are with other people as a group. So there's like some
Like swingers, like a group of swingers.
a group of swingers that know that they're all doing that.
Do they all do it with each other? Wow. And they're all friends?
Well, they all know each other.
Or are they all swingers?
Well,
just swingers, or are they friends who swing?
There's a swingers club. There's a swinger place where they go and drink and dance and all of this stuff. And then there are some groups of people that will go as a group. They'll take a trip, let's say to Mexico or something, and they know that they're going to be doing some swapping, which is not for anything. Don't. I'd want to put a gun up to Tom's head. And I just don't have any interest whatsoever of being with another man. I just don't. No.
I said that to Craig the other day. I just don't either. Like I don't ever mourn that I'm not going to ever get to be with anybody else.
No.
For me. I understand what you're saying, Tom.
But some people are different.
Yeah. And I understand why I know you're not a womanizer and you're not checking people out all the time, Tom. But I also think there's your coin that's like, I think it's kind of hard, and I don't think either one is right or wrong.
It's just individualized to people.
Yeah. And I think giving people permission to have their own thoughts and feelings about this, because we're not going to all be the same.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay. Tom, you want to tackle our last one? Gender and sexual fluidity.
Okay. Gender and sexual fluidity. These reveries encompass pushing the boundaries of one's gender expression or sexuality, such as through cross-dressing or experiencing attraction to someone who is not aligned with one's sexual orientation. These fantasies have roots in many of the desires previously discussed: the need for novelty, to violate cultural taboos, and expand the sense of self. Heterosexuality identified women were much more. Heterosexuality identified women were much more likely to report homoerotic fantasies than were heterosexually identified men. This makes sense in light of the fact that women tend to be more sexually fluid.
So what
That's
they're
interesting.
saying is more women fantasize about women than
Yes.
men fantasize about men.
I completely agree with that.
I would 100%.
yeah. So, and men fantasize about women.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
if you're heterosexual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never, I mean, even on like, I have never even come close to thinking about,
To fantasizing about a man.
yes, it's certainly intercourse, but I was
Can't
like,
see
even like as an actor, like if I was an actor, I do think that I could do like snuggling and kissing in a scene, but I think
With a
it
man?
would
Is that
look-
what you mean?
I think it would look really awkward. I think I would be bad at acting at that particular thing. I'm saying that I probably could do it, but I don't think that I would look natural at it. I think it would look really weird and awkward.
I think you're right.
But only like everything up to intercourse. That I couldn't even go. I mean, I can't even think about that. It's just weird, but
I think most
conversely, it's not weird for me to think about two women doing that. It's the opposite.
I think you're actually normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do too.
I think that's probably more normal for men.
Yeah.
Thinking about two women doesn't do anything for me, but
Me
it doesn't
neither.
freak me out.
But I wouldn't. I don't.
But
I would not want to have an erotic kiss with a woman.
And I don't want to touch another woman's body or breasts.
No,
or
me neither.
privates.
Me neither.
I don't have any desire.
that's
There goes
the
Janice's
thing.
face again.
Like those two actors, Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger, in that movie
Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain. Like I feel like if they can do it, surely I could conjure up what it takes to like do that.
Did they have sex in that movie?
No.
Okay.
No. But they had to do a lot of kissing scenes, and I just was like, if I was an actor and somebody said I had to do that in a scene, I obviously would give it a try. But I don't think I could have make it look actually loving like they did. They were like really good at that.
They
And
were
that-
really good.
I
at
never
it.
saw that
It was
movie.
a good movie.
It was a
Was
good
it?
movie.
It really was. Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird. That's so weird. And then when women get drunk, man, boy, do they love to kiss and do all the. It's just really funny how women are like that.
What do you mean?
With
like-
other women.
What is that rooted in?
Like so many college girls, and in my experience, like when women get drunk, they're always like more kissy and want to mess around with each other than like guys don't ever do that. But
You
it
mean
seems-
women when they've been drinking, then they want to be messing with another woman?
in my experience, I've seen a lot more women get drunk and start to have curiosities about that than men, because I've never seen that with men. Like they get drunk together and they're like, let's kiss. Whereas
I do
women,
think, Tom, I agree with you. I do think that the fluidity of women to women has increased dramatically with your generation and younger.
yes, agreed.
I counsel some college age kids that their sexuality is much more fluid. And it's not as taboo or strange to mess around. I just
Yeah.
messed around with her last night. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
you're
like
straight.
that's been going on. Yeah, maybe it is my generation and younger.
I
but-
think so.
Yeah, I do too.
I
yeah.
have not witnessed that, and maybe it's the crowd that I hang out around with, but I think that it's much more. It's a much bigger conversation in colleges, post college today, where women, and I think it's probably a bigger conversation with women right now because women have traditionally, if they did any of those things, they always kept it quiet.
Yeah,
Like,
it was on the down
it was
low,
on the
for
DL.
Sure.
Like if you had a one night stand with a guy when you and I were 25,
Yep.
you didn't tell anybody because
Right.
that was a risk of you being known as a slut. Now it's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's really no big deal for these young kids to have sex with anybody at any time.
Yeah.
It's changing.
Thanks a
Well-
lot, Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's just I think it'll somehow, some way, I think, like find its way back to a little
A
bit.
little more conservative.
Yes. But dang, that whole like
Yes.
sacredness. I'm trying to think, what is the word? Like there is effing somebody, and then there is like being intimate with somebody. And I think that we have gone so far to the other side of effing there's nothing wrong with it, and who cares, and no big deal. And I think finding people, especially it was my experience dating after divorce. Like I was like, whoa. I mean, when I was in my 20s, if I went out with a guy for a very long time, I've dated guys a long time without ever having sex.
Oh, yeah.
I waited a long time. And the number of people that I have slept with I have a very low body count. But I think girls these days have a much higher, I think when we were young, a few girls had high body counts. Today, I think a lot of girls have a lot more body counts.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot more Samanthas out there.
Well, they just have
Yes.
they just have a different
Exactly.
they just have a different idea around
They
it.
do.
You know?
And I do think that the access to their phones, the media, the social media, the internet, I mean, I think they're desensitized in a big way because it's so, if you have Albanese steak for the first time ever, you're going to be like, this is a beautiful steak. But if you have Albanese every night, who cares?
Yeah.
It's no big deal. And I think they have just become desensitized to some of them. That's
Some
a
of
big
them,
that's a
yeah.
big generalization.
Yeah,
but
that-
I want to
yeah.
have 2 Albanese steaks someday.
love me some Albanese. All right. Well, this was,
Interesting.
We got Janice to blush. I don't think I've ever
That's going on the
seen
highlight
that.
reel if we ever make one.
In all my years of
that's
knowing
not
you.
true.
In all my years of knowing you, Janice, I've never seen you beat red. Ever. I'm like, oh, I know her number.
That never happened.
Oh,
I'm
but
just
it did.
teasing.
Oh, but it did.